Hello, everyone. So today I'm going to be doing a recap of Tuesday's election night of all the Senate races. And my initial plan was to record a podcast and kind of go over everything more in depth. And I actually had everything recorded and everything done. And then a bunch of stuff happened. For instance, Florida got a lot closer. Arizona actually flipped. Montana also decided it went for John Tester instead of being a Republican state. So things kind of changed on me, and a lot of what I said wasn't really valid anymore. So I decided instead, you know what? I'm just going to go on New York Times, click on the key swing states county by county, and just go by what happened. All right, excuse me. So let's start with Nevada. I start with Nevada because Nevada is one of the ones I got wrong. So the Democrat Jackie Rosen won with 50.4% of the vote to Dean Heller, the incumbent Republican's 45.4%. Now, as you know from my prediction, I did get this one wrong. I really thought Dean Heller had it because a lot of the polls showed Dean Heller was winning. And I'm not going to lie to you, back in 2016, I came very close to predicting the correct margin of the presidential race, much like I did in this midterms. I also said Nevada would go Republican because the polling showed it would. Nevada just always seems to either overpoll Republicans or underpoll Democrats. And that's something that needs to go into account for future races. So I did get Nevada wrong. And Dean Heller lost. Where did Dean Heller lose? Number one, for a Republican to win in Nevada, you have to win Washoe County, which houses Reno. And you have to do better than he did in Clark County, which houses Las Vegas. To win, you would have to win Reno County, preferably by a few percent. And then say in Clark County, you would try to make it like the Democrat get like 50 and you get like 45 or something like that. You have to make it competitive. And Dean Heller did not do it in Nevada there. All right. Now we'll go on to. Actually, I'm going to come back. I'm not going to do Arizona and Florida yet because those two I want to talk about a lot. So I'll go to Texas, where this is really surprising. Texas, I did say Ted Cruz was going to win, so I did get that right. But look at the margins. 50.9, 48.3. Quick math, that's about 200,000 votes. All right? Yeah, 200,000 votes. I'll give or take a few. And this is gonna torture me. 220,000 votes. Whatever, it's close. Look at all this red in Texas. You would think, wow, Ted Cruz really won. Well, look at some of these counties. Only have a few hundred people. And you look where Beto O'Rourke did good. Tarrant County, hundreds of thousands of people. Dallas, hundred thousands. Houston, hundred thousands. Austin, hundred thousands. San Antonio, hundred thousands. Corpus Christi, and the tens of thousands. Beto O'Rourke's campaign for him was about trying to turn out support in the big cities, hoping that would give him a victory. Obviously, it did not, but all this red can be counteracted by just a few cities. And I think, personally, if Beto O'Rourke was a little bit more of a moderate and appealed to more Texas issues instead of more far left issues, then I think he could have done better. Perhaps down here, maybe in this region, because that kind of has some of the southern border and also is near Houston as well. He could have done better down here and potentially have won if he was a little more moderate. But very interesting to see how close Texas came. So North Dakota, Kevin Cramer beat Heidi Heitkamp 55.4 to 44.6. This wasn't really a surprise. I mean, the last month or so, we knew Kevin Cramer was going to win. The margin we weren't sure about, but polling was actually very correct in this one. Cramer won by around 11%. That's pretty close to what it was supposed to be. I did get this one right, and I'm not going to let you ever forget that. Montana. So, Montana is interesting because it started giving polls and results very late. And when I went to bed on election night, it was probably around 1:30, 1:45 a.m. And Montana had Matt Rosendale leading. And when I woke up that morning, Matt Rosendale was still ahead. So Montana was close. But the thing is, John Tester did very well well, Montana's not that big of a state for the first place, but John Tester did well in Lewis and Clark County, which houses Helena, the capital. He won the county that has Great Falls, Missoula, and Matt Rosendale actually did very well in Billings County. But for Democrats, if Democrats are winning in Republican states, you look for the big cities. That's where they usually overperform. That's where they do well. And that's what John Tester did. Not really surprised. The incumbent won. So I will go down to New Mexico, actually, because a lot of people are interested in this race. So in a way, what I predicted ended up being true. I didn't think Gary Johnson would take. He obviously took a significant percentage of the vote away from the Republican Mick Rich, but Gary Johnson, with the vote splitting, never really had enough support to win. Same with Mick Rich. With the vote splitting, he just didn't have enough. So Martin Heinrich won, pretty big margin, not too much of a surprise. Missouri, this one, if you've been a follower or subscriber of my channel since the beginning, you know Missouri is a state that I've always felt confident in that Josh Hawley, the Republican, would win. I didn't have the channel back then, but back in April or May when Josh Hawley won the primary and there were all these scandals going on, for instance, the governor resigned and how everyone thought, oh, Josh Hawley can't win now. I was like, no, guys, no, Josh Hawley's going to win. It's Missouri, it's Josh Hawley, he's popular, he's an up-and-comer, and Claire McCaskill's too close to Hillary Clinton for the state. And obviously the state of Missouri proved me right on this one. But where did Claire McCaskill do well? She lost by about 6 points. But where did she do well? She won Kansas City, she won Columbia, and she won St. Louis. So she got the 3 urban population centers. She did lose Springfield, though, which is a more conservative city. But look at this. This entire map of Missouri. She won, 4, 5 counties? I don't know if you would count, well, technically it's a city, so she won 4 counties of all of this. Yeah, it's kind of like other Republican states, like for instance Florida that has a bunch of smaller red counties, but those add up a lot. And you have to look at, when you're a Democrat trying to win a red state, as I mentioned, you need the big cities, but if you're a moderate, you really need to get some of these suburbs too. For instance, look at the outside of St. Louis. If Claire McCaskill's winning, she's likely winning these suburbs. Same case with Columbia. She's winning these suburbs if she's winning. But she didn't win. Josh Hawley won. That's another one I got right. And I'm so happy. Indiana. This is one in my earlier prediction I got right. And in my most recent one I got wrong. I did say in the podcast that I'm going to probably not end up posting because I think all the information now is pretty much irrelevant compared to what's actually happening. Plus I'm already making this video now, so whatever. But Indiana, I just flipped last minute because I didn't want to seem like I was too biased. I was influenced by things saying I'm biased or whatever. I was trying not to be biased by putting Indiana in the Democrat column because there was polling to suggest it could be. I did think Indiana would go red, but I just trying to be non-biased. I've learned now, be biased. It's great. I'm right. Whatever. I'm not letting this go. I'm never letting this go. So Mike Braun beat Joe Donnelly. He ended up winning by about 7%. I remember early on in election night, I was watching Indiana. It was like 2%. It was like 60-40 for Mike Braun. I'm like, okay. Then it got to 50%. It was the same margin. I'm like, this hasn't narrowed down at all. This is kind of getting weird. And then I was flipping back and forth between Fox and CNN, and then Fox called it for Mike Braun. And I think CNN did shortly after that too. I'm like, oh, Mike Braun actually won. And the first thing I thought was, okay, so am I wrong or am I right about this one? That was honestly the first thing I thought. And then I'm like, oh, wait, no, I was right. I thought Mike Braun would win. But then I literally thought, I'm like, but the most recent video, what will the people of the channel think? But I'm like, in my heart, I knew Indiana would go red. In my brain, I was kind of flipping back and forth. But Indiana did go red. And I'm going to try to take credit for that until somebody calls me out on it. Tennessee now. This race was supposed to be a lot more close than it was. And the simple fact was Phil Bredesen was leading the polls this whole summer. But there's one thing about this race people fail to realize. This is Tennessee. This is not Missouri. This is not Indiana. This has not shown trends within the last 10 to 12 years of voting for Democrats or coming very, very close like Missouri did in 2008. This is Tennessee. Polling may start off close, but it always ends up being a blowout for the Republican candidate, and that's exactly what happened here. Marsha Blackburn won handily in the state. Now, Phil Bredesen got about 44%, and let me be honest, Phil Bredesen may have been the best person the Democrats could have run to have a chance in this race. He's a former governor, he's popular, he was more of a moderate governor, more of a moderate Democrat. He is what a Tennessee Democrat is. He stood the best chance in this race, and that being that big of a blowout, I think just says it all right there. So I'm actually going to go up, before I go to West Virginia, I'm going to go to Ohio. Because Ohio kind of surprised me. Everyone pretty much knew Sherrod Brown was going to win. 53.2 to 46 point. It's essentially 53-47. I didn't know it was going to be that close, actually. I was expecting it to be like 56-44 or something like that. I thought it'd be a pretty big blowout. But, I mean, Sherrod Brown did win. And I was looking back at the map. Sherrod Brown did very well up here in the Cleveland suburbs. This is the area that President Obama won in 2012 and President Trump won in 2016. So, Cuyahoga County, which is where Cleveland is, Sherrod Brown won that by a big margin, not a surprise. And then Jim Renossi won this county. But President Trump won this, he won this, he won this. And these two were narrow victories for Brown, but still, President Trump won all, if not most of these. So it's just kind of funny to think about. Also, Hamilton County, this used to be the way before President Trump won Ohio. If you're a Republican, you had to win Hamilton County to win Ohio, or at least put you in play. And Sherrod Brown just crushed Jim Renossi there, so not really a big surprise that he won that. Okay, now we go down to West Virginia. West Virginia, this is a very, very close race, and I'm not going to lie, it was because of President Trump. President Trump made this race a lot closer than it should have been. Joe Manchin's a popular Democrat. He's been very popular in the state for a long time. Last time he won by double digits. This time he wins by 3%. And why? Because President Trump did literally everything he possibly could in helping out Patrick Morrisey to try and help him win here. The simple fact is, though, Joe Manchin is popular enough, and he voted for Judge Kavanaugh. And you're going to notice something by the end of this video. And I saw a comment on this in the comment section of the last video. That's true. Every single moderate Democrat running in a Trump state that did not vote for Kavanaugh lost. Joe Donnelly in Indiana, Claire McCaskill in Missouri, Heidi Heitkamp in North Dakota. As it appears right now, Bill Nelson in Florida. We'll see if the results change, but I think it will stay that way. Every single moderate Democrat in the Trump state, although Florida's technically a swing state, but whatever, they all voted against Kavanaugh. They all lost. There was one moderate Democrat that voted for Brett Kavanaugh. That was Joe Manchin. It was narrow, but Joe Manchin still won. If Joe Manchin voted against Judge Kavanaugh, the margins would be reversed, and I think Patrick Morrisey would have won. But I think because since he voted for Judge Kavanaugh, Joe Manchin was able to drive out enough support in Charleston and Huntington and Wheeling, and also get enough of the coal vote out here. While Patrick Morrisey did win coal country, I think Joe Manchin definitely got a few votes that helped him put him over the top. So, the Rust Belt, I'm not going to really cover any particular state because none of these were particularly close. But Minnesota, Klobuchar, and Tina Smith, not a big surprise. Wisconsin, Tammy Baldwin winning by about 11%. That wasn't really a surprise to me. Scott Walker losing the governor's race very narrowly, that was a surprise. I really thought Scott Walker was going to hang on. He's a political survivor. He's always been able to survive and fight back. But he lost his time, and I mean, that's that one I happily admit that I was wrong. Michigan, I take that back. Michigan is one I was surprised about. No one knew John James was going to be this close. He was supposed to lose by anywhere from 10 to 12%. He lost by like around 7%, which is still a big margin, but just the fact that he was leading for most of the night, and John James, I'll call it right now, for the state of Michigan, he is an up-and-comer in the Republican Party. This is not the last time we hear his name. Similar to how Beto O'Rourke, this is not the last time we hear his name. This is not the last time we hear John James' name either. And just look, Claire McCaskill, or not, I keep thinking about Missouri. See, I'm so interested in Missouri. Debbie Stabenow won. She got the support in Michigan. She got Ann Arbor. And she got the surrounding suburbs. That's how a Democrat wins in Michigan. A lot of this will be red. If it's a blowout, a lot of this will be blue. But Debbie Stabenow did what she had to do to hold on in Michigan. So now Pennsylvania never got close, really. Virginia, I'm only going to click on Virginia because I want to show you one thing. You look at Virginia, and you look at a lot of red. A lot of red going out. You would think, oh, well, just based off how many counties there are, the Republicans probably won. Yeah, no, not at all. Because Virginia, for a Republican to win, for Corey Stewart to win, he needed to perform out here in coal country the way he did. That he did good. But to put a Republican in play, first off, you need to usually win this county, Virginia Beach. If this county goes Republican, that means you win here, you're also performing a lot better out here. But the thing that makes or breaks a race in Virginia is up here. The northern suburbs of Virginia, Loudoun County, Prince William County, and Fairfax County. These three are the biggest population centers in the state of Virginia. This is what you're always waiting for on election night. These usually come in with around 80% of the vote remaining. This is what tilts the elections usually in the Democrats' favor recently. In 2014, when Ed Gillespie, who ran for the governor's race last year, when he ran for Senate in 2014 against Mark Warner, he won Loudoun County. And he actually made Prince William County very close. Now, combined with barely losing Prince William and Fairfax County going to Mark Warner, he was able to win. But he won Loudoun. Look at Loudoun this time. 63.2 to 34.8. Corey Stewart was not the best candidate to try to win this race, to be honest. But I didn't really see any possibility for any of the GOP candidates. Tim Kaine was going to win. The fact that he was on Hillary Clinton's campaign, she lost, and she still won Virginia. I mean, there's no hope really for Corey Stewart in this race. Just the state of Virginia always fascinates me with the way they vote. It's just very interesting. So, you know what? Actually, I'm going to go up to Massachusetts. This is my home state. It's the only reason I'm covering it. I just want to show you something. I am not the biggest fan of Elizabeth Warren on a lot of things, but I just want to bring out one thing. The Republican Jeff Deal won a county in Massachusetts. President Trump didn't win one county. Jeff Deal won one. Just wanted to bring that up. Know what that means? Red wave. Just kidding. Just messing with you. But yeah, he won one county, and that's actually against Elizabeth Warren. Considering how popular she is in the state, that's actually pretty good for a Republican. Considering President Trump didn't win one county, the fact that Jeff Deal won one is actually pretty impressive. There you go, little homer. Little home state, kind of ruined for myself. So now to the point of the video that gets kind of contentious. Florida and Arizona. There's been a lot of talk over the past few days of what's going on in these states, and to be honest with you, no idea. Arizona, first of all, Martha McSally was leading on election day, and up until very, very recently, then all of a sudden they found more votes and Kyrsten Sinema takes the lead. And I don't know how that happened, but Kyrsten Sinema is now ahead by 0.5%. I also have the hiccups, excuse me. So, Kyrsten Sinema pulled ahead. We don't know where these votes came from, but she's now ahead. There's 2 precincts left reporting in Pima County. If the margins hold, now this is the thing, you don't know if the margins are going to hold or not. But if the margins hold, Kyrsten Sinema gets more votes. This is where most of the votes are coming from in Maricopa County. This is full. I don't know where the rest of the votes are coming from, but this county is done. I don't know how they keep finding more votes, but they do. There's one more precinct in Yuma County, which is be more Republican votes for Martha McSally. So these 2 counties, this has some for Sinema, this has some for McSally. And if they are still finding votes for Maricopa, it's only 50 to 47, so there could be more votes for both candidates in that case. Pinal County will get some more votes for Martha McSally. So, for instance, say in Greenland County, it's tiny, but there can be like maybe 10 more votes or something for Martha McSally or Kyrsten Sinema there. So, you have to look at this map of Arizona and say, alright, imagine you're a Republican pollster, a Republican strategist or something. Martha McSally was leading this whole time. Is there a way that she catches up and wins? Well, the simple question is, what's out? If this map is accurate, basically of the remaining precincts, she needs to win every single, or close to like 70% of the vote just to catch up and win, unless the recount finds something that shows her ahead. In which case, yes, she could win, but it's very close right now and we're not sure. So Arizona is one to keep an eye on. I don't think Arizona's going to be done for a while. Now to Florida. Florida is really interesting because it seems like every single day it keeps getting closer and closer and closer, and this is getting really contested. So there's been a lot of talk about Florida recently because apparently this guy right here, Broward County, is causing all the trouble. You look at the margin, 100% reporting, Rick Scott's up by about 15,000 votes. Okay. A day ago, it was 100% reporting, 85,000 vote lead for Rick Scott. If I could be wrong, but if 100% of the vote is in, there should not be any more votes. Yeah, I get there's absentee ballots and all that stuff, but if you're reporting 100%, that should be 100%. If you don't have all the votes in, you shouldn't say it's 100%. And I get why Rick Scott is mad that this Democrat leader of Broward County who's like saying, oh, we have more votes and stuff. I get why Rick Scott's mad because he's like, you have 30 minutes after polls close to start reporting these numbers, and you didn't report one. So now after the election, you're trying to rig it back for Bill Nelson. It's ridiculous and it's unfair. And to be honest, I see it that way. I think it makes sense. And I think all the lawmakers and judges in Florida will see it that way too. So the simple fact is, while it has gone a lot closer, I do think Rick Scott will still hold on and win this race. I think if it does go to Bill Nelson, I think that is definitely unfair to Rick Scott, considering more people did vote for him. And let me tell you right now, if this race goes to Bill Nelson and is taken away from the people of Florida who voted for Rick Scott and Ron DeSantis, that's how you know there's some trickery going on here, because it's not a split vote. Both of them got around this similar margin of vote. So if their vote is taken away from them and the Democrats rig it for Bill Nelson or for Andrew Gillum, the people of Florida are not going to be that happy. And in 2020, watch how big the turnout's going to be. All I'm going to say. But Florida, I do think Rick Scott will hold on. I do think this lawmaker stuff and suing will be successful. Of course, leave a comment below. Tell me what you think is going to happen. But right now, the margin stands. I still think Florida will go red. So, right now, the map stands at 51 to 46. Mississippi's special election is going to be a runoff in a few weeks. And I expect the Republicans to win there. So that'll be 52. And I believe Florida, that'll be 53 if it holds. And then Arizona is still close. I initially said 55-45 or 54-46, depending on the prediction. So if Arizona flips back, that'll be 54-46, and I'll be off by 1. If not, if Arizona does flip, then that'll be 53-47, and I'm off by 2, which is still not bad. Off by 2 is not bad, but I went from thinking on election night that I got every single one right to waking up the next day and realizing I may have 2 wrong. So it hurts a little bit, but predicting 2 out of like 25, 28 races, I think it's pretty good. Of course, leave a comment below letting me know what you think, but that's what I think. So this has been a recap of all the swing states on election night. And I am going to have this map open for a while, so if there's any states that I didn't cover that you want me to cover more in depth, or as the results change, you want me to take a look at, please let me know. I'll happily do it. Please like this video. Please subscribe if you liked it, if you want more. Tell all your friends and family about it. Why not? Thanksgiving's coming up. Be a nice thing to talk about. Hey, this guy has a nice YouTube channel. Go check it out. That's great. Pass the mashed potatoes. Okay, that wasn't even funny at all, but I was just hoping to tell a joke there. So yeah, please tell your friends, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.